This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
Views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, we are the ones that encourage you to like and share them on social media and with all of your friends, because it's time for the science of caring. CareBag Incorporated now presents Careology with your host, Roxy Brown.
Thank you, Cliff. How are you doing?
Oh, once again, still doing.
Still
Amazing.
doing? Well, I can't believe we were just here. It's been a week already.
Yeah.
So it's good to see you. And to everyone that is driving and listening to us, thank you so much and welcome to Careology. And if this is your first time, welcome. My name is Roxy. I'm the CEO and founder of CareBag. CareBag is a nonprofit here on the Treasure Coast, and our mission is really simple. We provide access to proper hygiene for our homeless and our families that are in need in our community for their wellness. That's all we do. We don't provide food. We don't provide anything else, because without proper hygiene, with everything we've gone through with the pandemic, we all know how important it is. So we are happy that we can go ahead and supply the Treasure Coast, and we go all the way down to West Palm. We have 2 mobile shower units and the first of its kind mobile hygiene pantry here, even in the state of Florida. And our office is open 2 new hours right now. We have Tuesday, and starting on November the 11th on Thursday, we're going to be open from 3 to 6. So if you've been working and you haven't been able to get to our office, we have extended hours just to accommodate you. So your mom, your dad, your elderly in your family, your babies, or yourself can get the hygiene items that you need. Careology is a weekly radio show, and we are here every Tuesday at 6:05 to 7. And we are here to promote the science of caring. And what we do is we share knowledge and we educate our community on the resources available to you. And like I told everyone, the month of November is very special to me because it is our law enforcement month. So that means, thank you, Cliff. He's right on time. So, and that's very important. We have a lot of crazy stuff going on. And we had, I don't know if you guys remember, we had Assistant Richard Del Toro in here, and we learned what defunding the police really means. So we debunked that, and we know that's not going to happen, because I always told you, when something happens, it is instinctful. We all run to our phones, and the first thing we do is dial 911. I know I am. So we want to keep our law enforcement, and we want to go ahead and keep the men in blue, our Crime Stoppers, our sheriffs, our police department, because when something is wrong, we call them. And I am so excited about my 2 guests in the station tonight. We have Russ and Rick. I have their last names, but I don't want to mess it up, so I'm going to let them do it. So, gentlemen, welcome. Thank you so much for being part of CareBag. Good talking to the mic. And
thank you for having us.
Thank you. And please go ahead and introduce yourself.
I am Russ Marsham. You didn't want to tackle the last name?
No, I didn't want to tackle the last name. That's too much.
You could have gotten there. Russ Marsham, and I am the tip coordinator and the law enforcement coordinator for Treasure Coast Crime Stoppers.
Ooh.
I'm Rick Vidieri. I'm the executive director for Treasure Coast Crime Stoppers.
And I have met Rick before. Crime Stoppers was so kind to CareBag, because we pack all our items, and I don't like putting things in little little plastic bags, and they gave us some beautiful Crime Stopper bags, which can also be good tips when you see something, say something, right, gentlemen?
Yes,
that's correct.
See,
absolutely.
there we go. I'm right in on it. But before we get into the meat and potatoes about Crime Stoppers, I just want to put out a gentle reminder to all of you that December 17th is just around the corner. We have our 2021 Lexus UX 200, taxes paid, not a lease option. And you can go to givecarebag.com, www.givecarebag.com, to get all the information about the drawing that we're having. Somebody was kind enough to pay the taxes, so you will walk away with this car once we meet our quota, that we can go ahead and give you the car. If we don't meet our quota, we'll split the money 50-50. All that information is on the website. That is done by an independent contractor for us. So this is not a scam. I have Crime Stoppers here, so they know. This is not a scam. This is real. Someone has already won the grill at Lowe's, and someone already won Locally, they won the grill, and someone in California won our 55-inch TV. Matt there in Santa Ana. So we're happy that our clients and our customers and our donors and everyone that supports us is happy. Thank you to Two Men in a Truck and Lowe's, and a big thank you to Treasure Coast Lexus right out off of Midway and US 1. Not only are they our sponsor, but the car, thank you so much. The place is beautiful. The car is gorgeous. If you want to see it, just go down. Tell them Roxy from Careology sent you, and they'll know exactly what to do. So, gentlemen, talking about scamming and see something, say something. I normally don't do this, and Cliff knows, but I'm going to give you gentlemen the mic because I know the information you have to tell us is very important. You can fix your mic, Mr. Rick, yep, and go ahead. The mic is yours.
What do you want to know?
I want to know there's so much. Okay, let's start off with I always hear the phrase, if you see something, say something. So I'm going to touch on something. It didn't happen here. I'm sure you all heard. In Philadelphia on the train station, my skin crawled. I got so upset that someone was there violating a young woman, and everyone stood there.
Saw this news story.
Yes.
Yep.
Nobody said nobody called 911. Everybody was there with their pictures. Trying to take pictures while this woman was being violated in front of people. I'm a New Yorker. I know what the trains look like. Trust me, somebody could have done something. So I want to start off about that. I don't know what's wrong with our society. That's a whole nother show. But let's start off with about when you see something, what should you do?
Want me to take it?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Obviously, with Crime Stoppers, our big thing that we really try to promote is the anonymity aspect of
Okay.
it. And it's not to put down police departments,
Mm-hmm.
1-800 numbers or tip lines. Think about it from the standpoint of a lawyer. It's considered discoverable.
Okay.
If you call the police department's tip line, a lawyer, say his client gets arrested based off of one of our tips,
Right.
based off a tip that goes to the police department, rather,
Right.
or sheriff's department. Lawyer figures it out, subpoenas phone records. It would probably be a difficult task, but they could probably eventually find
who made that
that
call.
with us, numbers are scrambled. The way that we talk to somebody, let's just say, for instance, you recognize the person on a wanted poster,
Right.
or Port St. Lucie puts out a bulletin, or you see something on the news.
If I recognize you, I'm calling. I'm just gonna let anyone know. I'm calling. Okay.
But you for
You're
some
scared.
reason,
Yeah.
you're scared.
Right.
Multitude of factors of why. Maybe you had a bad experience. Maybe you're just leery about
Yeah.
calling the police, or you just basically you don't want that person to know who
Right.
you are. You get a hold of us.
Mm-hmm.
You call our 1-800 number, 273-8477. 8477 stands for tips. Makes it kind of
Okay.
easy. Go on our Facebook page. Go on our website, tcwatch.org. You can hit star tips. Any way you do it, or through our app. Any way you do it, the number is scrambled.
Okay.
Our call center, we have a call center that operates out of Texas. They're 24/7. They don't have a caller ID that sees your number, because when you do that, it goes to a company that we
Oh,
hire,
okay.
scrambles your phone number, so we never know who you are. You leave that tip, and you are given the opportunity at that time. Do you want to receive a reward? Some people say no. They just go, no, I'm just doing this because
You need to.
I need to.
needed to.
It
Yeah.
feels like I'm just doing the right thing.
He killed somebody and he needs to be in jail. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. We'll use my example.
But they say no, they don't
Right.
want it. Well, that's a dead end. If they say, yes, I'm interested, or would you like the tip number and a password, and they write that down.
Okay.
So, say 2 days later, you have some more info that you want to add to that tip. You now have that password and that login. You can log back in
Oh.
to our system, to our program, put the updated info, or if you have a question for us, for Crime Stoppers, or I heard that they got arrested, am I getting a reward? You leave your message there. When I log in, I see it. So I never know your IP address.
It just comes in. Okay.
I don't know your...
It's like a WhatsApp.
Right.
Everything
I
is
don't know your
scrambled.
email. And we don't want to know you.
Okay.
People will give tips. And in their tip, they'll put identifying info.
Okay.
My dad, my uncle, so-and-so is doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And they're thinking we're anonymous, but they're not thinking out, okay, if I send this tip as it is forward to whatever law enforcement agency, we have upwards of 20 different agencies we work with. It's
Okay.
18?
18.
18. Okay.
So we get the tip, look at it. I make sure that you don't say, my name is Roxy Brown and I am reporting my neighbor. I edit that
you
out.
black out.
I delete anything identifying.
Mm-hmm.
We figure out which agency it goes to and we send it to them.
Okay.
And kind of one of the things that we talk about often is when we talk to groups is we want to stress that we are not law enforcement. Rick and I happen to be retired police officers.
Okay.
Um,
From the state of Florida here?
He's from Florida and I'm
Okay.
from Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
So we've been there and done that, but we aren't currently working for law enforcement, and law enforcement does not work for us.
Okay.
But we do have a very good relationship with them.
Of course. They're getting their tips.
So people sometimes will send us tips that you look at, I'll wake up in the morning and 7 o'clock in the morning, look, and they're telling me about a DUI at 1 o'clock in the morning. Well, I was asleep.
Yeah.
You know, we are not law enforcement. We are
Right.
not law enforcement dispatch,
Okay.
but we are an anonymous crime reporting
For
service.
for the major crimes that are
Yeah,
happening.
or you suspect your neighbor's dealing drugs, you know, send us that. We'll make sure that it's not identifiable to you.
So if your neighbor, because we have to straighten this out for some of our listeners. If your neighbor is not cutting their lawn, and
Don't
this
call
is
Crime
not
Stoppers.
a Crime Stoppers number to call. See, we have to say we sometimes people just feel like, oh, I'm gonna call. So if they're parking and they parked on your side of the lawn because there's a party going on, we don't call Crime Stoppers for that. But if you see someone pulling a body bag out of their side door, that's the time to call Crime Stoppers, I would presume.
Correct.
That is it. That's it. So tell us more information. I like the anonymity part of that.
Going off what you just said, though.
Yeah.
If you do see something that's happening in
Right there.
right then and there,
911.
911. Don't get a hold of us. Get a hold of 911. Worry about the Crime
other
Stopper stuff
later.
later. Take care of business. If it's something that's happening in the moment, someone's getting shot, someone's getting stabbed, you see something going down,
Yeah. Call
it's going to take a
911.
while for the call center to get to us, for us to get the tip, to ferry it out to an agency, and the agency, they can decide whether they want to get it
Do it
via
or not.
email or have their phone text. They might not get it
Right there.
right there, so definitely
So
911 for
say something at the moment is 911.
yes.
So
yes.
do we have that down pat for them, Cliff? Yeah. See something, say something. It's 911. That
our
is
news
important.
our news bureau says that every morning during the morning show. If
Yeah.
you see something, say something. And I will say, I see something. And they'll say, what did you see? I say, I see Mr. G and Ray Thomas in the studio. But that
Okay,
becomes a promo.
We're gonna.
But are they reporting? Are they committing a crime?
Are they committed a crime?
Now if they tell the truth in the news, probably. No,
Oh,
just kidding.
he went there. He
Yeah,
went there, everyone.
I was going to give a smack to the bad guys.
Okay, so how many, do you know, I might ask you on the spot, how many, the calling in and seeing something, saying something, have you seen the evidence of that it really works?
Absolutely.
Yes.
One of the tips that we get a lot, which we talked about, is you think your neighbor's dealing drugs.
Right.
Okay. Obviously, you're apprehensive in calling the police department because a cruiser is going to show up in
Right.
the yard. You think your neighbor's a drug dealer, and you're afraid there might be repercussions. Okay, so that's why you would definitely want to call Crime Stoppers, that we can pass that information on to law enforcement and remain anonymous. So that is a tip we get all the time, and they do an investigation. That would also lead to you getting a cash reward
Ooh.
if there is an arrest.
All
And
right.
chances are you will know the person got arrested because you're going to see law enforcement there and
You're gonna
taking him
see
out of the
that.
house. So you'll call us and say, hey, I think my neighbor got arrested. This is the tip. This is my tip. My secret code might be Pizza Man. And
Okay.
then we say, okay, you're eligible for a cash reward.
And how do they get that cash reward now?
We have a financial institution that
Okay.
we deal with, and again, even when you get paid, we don't know who you
We
are.
don't know who you are, because it's done third party.
We have a third party.
Okay.
We have a secret way of doing it. They don't know who you are. I can't go into too many
No,
details.
that's fine.
But you will get paid.
Suffice
Okay.
to say, when a person calls us up, we have a call-in day, like once a month.
Okay.
So using that dialogue feature I was talking about a few minutes ago, we'll reach out to them and say, you're eligible for a cash reward. Please
Okay.
call us on this day between these hours.
Right.
So when that phone rings, it won't go to our call center. It'll come to our
To
office.
come to the office.
So, and it doesn't come up on a caller ID with a name or anything. It's all spoofed. Hi, I'm calling about tip number, whatever. We verify it. We give them the instructions like what Rick was just saying.
And they-
But suffice to say, they'll go to that financial institution. They never have to go inside. They never have to show an ID. If they follow
get
the
the
instructions that we
instructions.
tell them,
That's
they
all
will
it
get
is.
their cash through the tube
Wow.
and drive away, and no one's the wiser.
Now,
How nicer is that? We're going to take I didn't even want to take a commercial break because this is so interesting. But just imagine you see something, you need to do something, your anonymity is safe, and getting your moolah and your money for the reward, if what you are saying is credible, because we don't want to send people on a wild goose chase, and you go and you get your cash reward. That I've never had to call. I'm just an assertive person.
I was cruising around YouTube, in fact, over the weekend, and I saw John Walsh, and he was reporting that they had figured out and solved the case of who killed his son, little Adam Walsh, years and years ago. But they didn't say the name of the suspect, so they're probably still in the early stages.
Oh, okay.
That guy died.
He
Yeah,
died?
I think he.
But they figured out who it was.
Yes.
Wow.
And
If I'm not mistaken,
Crime does-
I don't think they ever. I don't think they ever charged him.
okay, so
They
they
figured
who
it out.
was.
But he died, so we
And
never
yeah,
charged him.
I don't want to speak out of
They,
Yeah.
context
they,
here, but
they didn't give any details.
Details.
Yeah.
Like that he had passed. That's a major.
Well, see, usually people say crime doesn't pay, but at Crime Stoppers it does. So we're going to take a commercial break. We're going to hear from our sponsor. And if you're tuning in with us on Careology, just stay tuned. We will be back with Roxy and Cliff. Also, we got Russ and Rick in the studio from Crime Stoppers, learning how crime does pay. We'll be right back after these messages. How would you like to win a Lexus UX 200 with taxes paid, no car payment? That sounds terrific. Go to givecarebag.com. All proceeds go to help our local nonprofit CareBag Incorporated, where they provide access to proper hygiene to those in our community in need. We also have 2 additional prizes. Go to givecarebag.com to find out how you could win a beautiful 2021 Lexus UX 200. No lease, taxes paid. Drawing December 17th, 2021. If you could reimagine the way you buy a car, what would you do? Make it simple, make negotiations disappear, demand transparency, then experience amazing at your Treasure Coast Lexus dealer. Car Buying Simplified. Treasure Coast Lexus is a proud sponsor of Careology. Every Tuesday at 6:05 p.m., caring and supporting for our community. Car Buying Simplified. Check out your Treasure Coast Lexus dealer.
Welcome back to Careology, the science of caring. And once again, here's your host, Roxy.
Thank you, Cliff, and welcome back to Careology. My name is Roxy, and we have part of my law team here today, and it is Crime Stoppers, because they are not official. We just learned something. You are not officially law enforcement officials.
Correct.
But you go ahead and you assist and partner and collaborate with law enforcement to assist them in catching the bad guys and doing it under a strict anonymity that people could feel safe calling in, doing what's right, and getting paid on top of it.
Going back to that, I want to let you know that a homicide will pay up to $5,000 cash. Okay, in some cases it'll pay up to $9,500. We have a way that we can ask for a reward enhancement.
Oh, okay.
Also, sometimes family members kick in. So sometimes cash rewards could be up to $9,500, which
And
is quite a bit
we
of money.
pay on arrest,
Oh, okay.
whereas
They pay on conviction.
some people might pay on
Yes.
conviction. So we're on arrest.
Okay.
Which is nice
Yeah.
because the person could get arrested. The state might end up dropping the charges, but you're still going to get paid.
Gonna still paid
Yeah.
for it.
Okay, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. You will get paid. We have a matrix we follow, and so the amount of money depends on the type of charges. So, for example, say it's a small drug charge, okay, and they put a warrant out for that person, and the tip comes in and tells us where that person can be located. And law enforcement goes there and they make the arrest, but then when they're searching him, there's more drugs on him. He has a gun or she has a gun, and the charges keep going up. We get to see that. That will increase the amount of the reward also.
I don't know nobody I can call.
Or maybe another person
Yeah.
is with them
Okay.
and they get arrested.
They get arrested,
And that helps.
that doubles the money.
Yes,
Wow.
and it just keeps going up that way.
We-
So we
we've-
look at the matrix.
We've had some
Okay.
people call in for tips that were disappointed because they thought, now, Rick just said murders now.
Right.
We locally, Treasure Coast Crime Stoppers, can pay $5,000 and can get bumped up with approval. Previously was $3,000, but we would have some people that would see the person on the wanted poster for shoplifting, and they would send in the tip, an arrest would be made. We'd get that phone call on that call-in day, and they might be getting $300-400 off that tip, but they were incredibly crushed and disappointed that they weren't getting $3,000 and now $5,000. And we're like, no, that's a murder. That's a murder. That's a murder. That's a murder. You know?
You're not supposed to know anyone in that
And
category.
I said this to Sheriff Flowers when I talked to him. I said, I wouldn't suggest trying to do Crime Stoppers as a career.
No.
To making tips, but we certainly do appreciate the tips
Yeah.
coming in.
Because it helps. Because I know the police have their hands full.
Yep.
CareBag is about to go into the schools because we hear gang violence is unfortunately rising in one of our counties. So we want to start going into the schools because I believe everything starts at home. If there's chaos at home, you're going to bring it out into the street. So, and not being able to have a shower, not being able to be clean, that's part of it. That's part of it. So we're going to be going in there. But just sitting on these meetings and listening to some of the things they're saying and they're doing, I was like, times have changed. As now I'm going to shift a little bit from Crime Stoppers. As retired policemen, back in the day when you were working to what you see police have to do now, what is your take? If you had to give one sentence about it. Boy, they took a deep breath. Y'all couldn't even see that.
I don't think one sentence could
well,
sum it
say
up.
you can. We have time. Go ahead.
Times have changed for sure. You
Yeah.
said it. I think things have evolved to a point right now where, we're all on Facebook. You look on Facebook and people are saying, "Why is there a SWAT team on the corner of my street?" Or everybody's sharing their experience.
Yeah. So nothing is secret no more.
Let's face it. Today, if Putin sneezes right now, we
We're gonna know.
5 seconds later. That didn't exist at the beginning of my career, and he was in law enforcement before me, and it certainly wasn't there when he started. And nowadays, too many people are you're affecting an arrest.
What is it called? Neighborhood. What is it called?
Yeah.
Neighborhood. Something that's neighborhood. It's something that you put on the neighborhood. I have it on my phone. I can't find it. But anything that happens in the neighborhood, people automatically go ahead.
Watch.
It's not neighborhood watch. It's the minute something happens, somebody says something. Your neighbors.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I dislike that thing. I really dislike it because anything that happens, I know when police and everything is around. And I thought that some stuff needs to be kept secret. If you have a speed trap or the stop sign, nobody needs to know it's there because it doesn't do its job. We're not catching you as you go through the stop sign. You see what I'm saying?
We're so polarized now. Everybody's got a different opinion. So some people are rallying for the speed trap, and then
Yeah.
other people are jumping on those people saying,
Listen.
it's a good thing that they're saying, we don't want to get pulled over and
Well, at Rio Mar, there is a stop sign. And when I come to that stop sign, when I leave my home and I'm coming towards that stop sign, I stop. And not only do I stop, I wait for the cars I see coming while I'm at the stop sign to make sure they stop. Because while I'm driving there, there's a stop sign and I see cars doing this, in and out. In and out. No one stops. Everyone keeps going. I just think me and Cliff always talk about it with every guest we have. Last week we talked about the level of respect that is gone and that it's a generational problem and I'm sure we're seeing it in crime also. The great grandmother did it. The grandmother did it. Now the daughter's doing it. The daughter's doing it. So nothing seems to ever stop. It seems to get worse. So have you seen that increase in Crime Stoppers over the years, over the last couple years?
I think our tips. I don't want to speak in too much of a generality, but we do get a lot of the drug tips. And not to say that's our bread and butter, but we get a lot. We have a lot of the agencies that pump out the bulletins.
Right.
Take Indian River County, for example. They do the wanted fugitive of the week, one person of the week.
Okay.
That gets a lot of play on social media. And so we get a lot of tips from that.
You got a lot of tips.
But to say, and I've worked for Rick now for 3 years, and you've been in Crime Stoppers for how long? 7. I don't know, in the 3 years that I've been there, the types of tips that we're getting are roughly the same.
The same.
With COVID, we got some COVID tips. People are gathering and doing.
Really?
Oh yeah, we did. So,
For
and
gathering?
Yeah,
Well, remember, you weren't allowed to
Oh,
have
that's right.
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
in the beginning. So
Okay, yeah.
We would get tips on
I
that.
I'm trying to let those days go by me.
Yeah,
But we're averaging a little over 1,000 tips
a year. Yep.
which is pretty incredible for the area we cover, Indian River, Martin, St. Lucie.
So that's what I was going to say. Let's talk about that, because I've been to a couple of your meetings. They do happen kind of early. Are you virtual or meeting together now?
We're going to meet together this month.
Okay,
We're
so
going back.
and that's the second,
Uh,
the third. When is it?
third
Third Friday of the
Friday
month.
of
The
month.
third
And I'm not
Friday?
St. Lucie Draft House.
Okay. Oh, we're
Yeah,
still
we-
at St. Lucie Draft
Yes.
House. So I've been there. So I've seen it, and what I noticed, which I love to see, I see just a meeting of so many different agencies under one roof, which is very nice. Now, is the public invited to these meetings?
Yes, anybody from the public is invited. We start off, as you know, with a breakfast,
Right.
which everybody gets, and then I'll get up and I'll speak, and then we have a guest speaker too from different agencies or different social groups, and explaining what they do and how you can get help. Like you would be perfect to get up and talk to our group too and talk about your program. So we want to inform the community where they can get help in certain areas.
So that's something I've been trying to. I promote local businesses here because I think that's so important. CareBag has been built off local businesses, but I try to let our listeners know you can't sit at home and complain. The same way you need to vote, you need to get out, you need to come to a meeting, and you can get good information. Because I know Chief John Boldick. I know he comes. Sometimes he comes. I know Linda Bartz, our commissioner. There's so many people there that if you live anywhere on the Treasure Coast and you come to this meeting, you're bound to meet someone that you can have a dialogue with. If you have a question, they can tell you what you can do, what steps or what office you need to contact. So instead of sitting down, getting on social media, I call people keyboard warriors. That's my word, keyboard warriors. Instead of complaining behind a keyboard, get up and come to a meeting. Put a mask on, come to a meeting and hear what's going on. Because I've been, and it's very informative. And we want to give you guys the resources so you can know what's going on. So we talked about see something, say something, but what we were talking about earlier was the scamming that's going on.
Yep.
That is very big. Before they were just targeting our elderly. Now they're targeting everybody. Tell our viewers some things they might not know that could really enlighten them so they can be careful.
I think the bottom line when it comes to that, I mean, we get some tips every now and then.
Yeah.
The sheriff's department, the IRS, the government is never going to
call you.
you and say, you owe us money.
No, they're not.
And you need to pay us right now. And you need to go to the store and buy Walmart gift cards. Or
Or you
TransUnion or whatever.
Yeah.
They're never
going to do that. Well,
Ever.
everyone know, for those that don't know, and you guys can correct me, the IRS will only write you.
Right, they do not call.
Yep.
They do not call.
Yep.
So when the IRS calls me, Roxy has a fun time with them. But don't have a fun time, because I'm finding out also sometimes they keep you on the line so they can, I don't know how they do it. I don't know. I don't know if it's true. I was told sometimes they want to keep you on the phone so they can try and ping your location, ping your computer, do different things. I don't know if that's true.
I've always known with your cell phones now,
Right.
it comes up like scam likely.
Yes.
Or they spoof the phone numbers
Right.
now.
Yes.
It'll come up as a number that or it'll come up from. I'm from Connecticut originally.
Right.
I'll get these numbers come up, Connecticut prefix, and if you answer the phone, whatever robo dialer or company was trying to get a hold of you about your extended warranty or something
on a new car.
On a new car,
Yeah, I
right.
love that one.
Once you answer the phone, it registers. Okay, that's an active phone line.
Okay.
So I tell my wife, don't
answer the call,
that.
'cause
Just
they'll
let
keep.
Because now
They're gonna keep. Different people are gonna keep doing it. Not unless you have the block feature.
right, I
Yeah.
just have to figure.
One of
Yeah.
the scams we hear a lot is you won $1 million in the lottery, and then you have to pay the taxes. So a lot of people get caught. Now, I always tell them, if it sounds too good to be true,
It's too good.
It's it's fake.
Except the Win Me 2021 Lexus UX 200. That sounds
except for
too
this
good
one.
to be true. It is true. You can go down. It's local. You can go down to Lexus. If you guys, sometimes I don't open up the phone line. If you have a question that you would like to ask Mr. Rick or Mr. Russ, please call 772-340-1590, and we'll be happy to take your calls. So 772-340-1590. All of you already know the number. So that's the good thing about it. What are some other things you can tell us about scams that are really going, especially for our elderly? Well, anyone.
Well, general information, our website, tcwatch.org.
Okay, TC Watch.
tcwatch.org. We encourage you to go on that. And if we get a certain type of scam coming in, like during tax season, it would be IRS, we'll put some of that information out there and tell you please be aware of it. But also on that website, because we cover 4 counties, sheriff's department, police departments will put persons of interest that are wanted, they want to speak to, so you can go on there. And I encourage everybody to look at it, because you might say, I don't hang around with criminals, I'm not going to know anybody on this website. You will never know
surprised.
how you know that person. I'll give you a prime example. One of the agencies put out, they were looking for a person. There was a warrant on them. And we got a tip and said, I was on the website. I saw you're looking for so-and-so. He's a waiter at one of the local restaurants. I go there every day, and he's there at noontime. Okay? And they just happened to know that was
the
their waiter.
gentleman.
Exactly. We passed that on to law enforcement, and 10 after 12, he was in custody.
Wow.
So you'll never know.
No.
Another time I put some wanted people in the newspaper, and the gentleman told me he got up in the morning and he opened up the newspaper and he was drinking his coffee, and he looked and he went, that's my
That's
neighbor.
the pool guy.
That's my neighbor. And he looked out the window,
And there he
and the
was.
neighbor was just standing there in the yard. He's like,
Wow.
yep, that's him. You'll never
know.
how you might know these people. Could be your hairdresser, like you said, your lawn person. So we encourage everybody to go on there and look. It's very
My
interesting.
lawn person is my husband. Oh, I hope.
All
not.
right. Yeah.
Who's listening?
Keep an eye on him now.
I got to keep an eye on him. So we want we're going to encourage everyone, and I'm going to put this on our social media page, tcwatch.org.
Yes.
And you can go there and you can look in your area. I know I feel some messages coming on, but you can go tcwatch.org. And we're going to really go ahead and encourage you to go on there, look and see what's going on, because you never, ever know. You never know. We're learning crime does pay. So we're going to ask you to go on there, look, and see what other information you can give out. So the Treasure Coast is always known for the lowest crime rate. How have you seen that happening? Over the last 2 years.
I don't know if that's really a question that we're in a position to answer, as opposed
Well,
to
I'm
as opposed to like
I'm hitting Chief Bolduc with
I was
it in
gonna
2
say,
weeks.
as opposed to
Oh,
asking
yeah.
the chief or the deputy chiefs these questions, because we're in the loop.
We're in the
but
loop,
we're
but
not
not in the
that
loop.
much in the loop.
Okay.
Not exactly public information officers, so to speak. 'Cause they're-
Well, correct, and seeing as we work with 18 different agencies in the 4 different counties, I can't speak for Port St. Lucie. I can't speak for Stewart. I can't speak for Okeechobee. You know, they can probably definitely
do
tell
more.
you what's going on directly in their communities, cities, towns.
Okay.
I
Well,
think some of the good news is our numbers are down a little bit.
Well, that's
okay?
good.
We're getting a little less tips.
Everybody's
than
got a
we used
camera.
to.
yeah.
So,
How do you escape?
That's helping.
the
Yeah.
evidence that somebody's got their phone on you.
Well, not only that, every house has a camera now.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Everyone
The
has a
Ring.
doorbell.
Doorbells, yeah.
Or they have a big dog like me, and we still have cameras. So, crime doesn't pay, but it does. And we're glad that Crime Stoppers is around, because with all the counties that you do, we're feeling a little safer. So I'm going to implore everyone that's just like me that, if you see something, you want your neighborhood safe, you want your community safe, you want your children safe. And the only way that we can do this is by making sure the people that are not making things safe are being accounted. They're accounted for their actions.
I think some of these doorbells, I think you can sign up to share whatever you catch on your cameras with local law enforcement. And that's where they get a lot of these camera shots
Oh,
of
yeah.
the bad guy getting away. He was driving a car just like this is the car he was driving.
Well, the sign out my house make people know, just don't come. just don't come. But if you do come, go to tcwatch.org. That is important. We want people to be engaged. We want our community to be engaged, and we want to just learn. We're going to take a break because I see Cliff looking at me with his hand like he's about to break the pen. So we're going to take a break and hear from our sponsor. But just remember tcwatch.org, and go there and you can go and find more information. And we have more information to share with you. My name is Roxy, and we will be right back with our two guests, Russ and Rick with Crime Stoppers. If you could reimagine the way you buy a car, what would you do? Make it simple, make negotiations disappear, demand transparency, then experience amazing at your Treasure Coast Lexus dealer. Car Buying Simplified. Treasure Coast Lexus is a proud sponsor of Careology. Every Tuesday at 6:05 p.m., caring and supporting for our community. Car Buying Simplified. Check out your Treasure Coast Lexus dealer. How would you like to win a Lexus UX 200 with taxes paid? No car payment. That sounds terrific. Go to givecarebag.com. All proceeds go to help our local nonprofit CareBag Incorporated, where they provide access to proper hygiene to those in our community in need. We also have 2 additional prizes. Go to givecarebag.com to find out how you could win a beautiful 2021 Lexus UX 200. No lease, taxes paid. Drawing December 17th, 2021.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie.
And now back to Careology. Once again, here's your host, Roxy.
Thank you guys for staying with us. And if this is your first time, welcome to Careology, where everything for us is simple. Careology is just promoting the science of caring, sharing knowledge, and sharing resources with our community. And this evening, we're sharing Crime Stoppers. And when we go to commercial break, I get all good information. Star tips. Go ahead.
You were talking about our website,
Yes.
tcwatch.org. You can also call the 1-800 number. You can go on Facebook, Treasure Coast Crime Stoppers, or Star Tips is something the state started about a year ago. If you're driving down the road, you see something happening,
Ooh.
and you just go on your cell phone.
Star
Tips. It'll route you via cellular technology. It's not 100% perfect, but it gets it right most of the time.
In the area
and it
you're
tries
in.
to route it
To the
to
area
the
you're in.
Crime Stoppers that covers that area
Wow.
you're in. Obviously, if you're on the highway or if you're near a jurisdictional border, it might bounce north of us to crime line. It might bounce south of us. But if we get one of theirs, we just forward it to them. And vice versa. So
Okay, so we're just
it
kept
still
safe
works.
Now, is this just for the state of Florida?
Just Florida.
Just
Star
Florida?
Tips,
Oh, Florida's on the map again. Star TIPS. If you see something automatically and you're not feeling to call 911, or you don't think it deserves 911 because it's not a crime act happening at the present time. See, I got it right. So there's so many resources to keep us safe. And Mr. Rick, you were just telling me something about videos.
Yes, we were talking about videos out there.
Right.
And the quality
The
now
many,
is fantastic.
yeah.
Law enforcement send us a video, we post it on our website. So you'll actually see it. We've solved a bank robbery in Indian River County. They had a picture of the gentleman on the video. We got the tip on it, and I think I got the tip, if I remember right, Sunday. And being ex-law enforcement, I can tell if the tip is good. by Tuesday he was in custody.
Wow.
And it was fantastic. The quality was phenomenal. They told
Well,
us
phones are. You get some great pictures
oh,
on phones.
they're fantastic now.
Did
Yeah.
you want to mention the school teacher one, or want me to say something?
Yeah,
about
go
it?
ahead.
Oh, that's the one you're telling me?
Just-
Yes.
Oh, yeah, please do tell. This is a good one,
Well,
Cliff.
it goes back
Yeah.
to the video.
Yeah,
Indian River County Sheriff's Department
right.
posted that video and still pictures. We shared it on our site, our Facebook. We probably got 10 different tips on that, but one tip specifically said those two guys are so-and-so
And
so-and-so,
so-and-so.
because the video was that good,
Wow.
and it was, I'd say within days. They were working the shooting
Right.
pretty, and they ended up getting, one got arrested for attempted murder, and the other one drugs. Because the other guy really didn't pull a gun, he didn't shoot
Right.
him. But that was probably within 48 hours
Wow.
of getting
what
that
would
tip.
take weeks now.
They had, and it was based off of
Just a
all this
picture.
sharing of information. And it's a classic example too. It was an after the fact crime. It wasn't happening in the moment where, again, in the moment, please just call 911
Right.
and
In the moment, call
and get
911.
them caught. But in this one
Right.
here, they were looking for info,
And they got it.
and one of our tipsters saw it, and to this day, I have no idea who that person was,
They just
and they're going to get a nice reward.
Yeah. Wow. So star tips only in the state of Florida by cellular technology. If I'm wrong, just interrupt me
No,
because
you got
I'm
it
not right all the time. Or you can get the information for everyone that loves social media. Crime Stoppers is on Facebook. Yes, Cliff.
Well, the cell technology is still fairly new. How does it measure up with the all new DNA type of testing that we've finally just seen in the last few years?
Well, I think that one's more geared towards
Police.
actual still working law enforcement.
Still
but
working
I think
law
we,
enforcement.
I think we all know though that
Oh yeah.
that's solving a lot of crimes, solving
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of cold cases too.
Yeah.
There are a lot of TV shows that show like the Crime Network, and back in that day they didn't have the DNA technology they have today. And today somebody wants to find out their DNA, and they send their DNA to a company that puts them in a database, which can make somebody vulnerable if they've committed crimes, and that DNA has
Well,
already
you
been
just,
collected.
if you've committed a crime, now this is just Roxy talking on Roxy's show because I own this show until 7 p.m. If you committed a crime and you putting your DNA out there, you deserve to be caught.
That's
I'm
right.
just gonna put it out there.
If you're a
If you-
criminal, it's probably not a good idea to do like 23andMe or
Nah, I did
any
all
of
that
those.
stuff. I'm just interested in where I came from.
And I want to remind you, if you're not computer savvy and you don't want to type in the tip yourself, call that 1-800 number because you will get a dispatcher there.
Okay. And that's the 273-8477.
Correct.
So that number is 800. Everyone grab your pen and
You
paper.
remain anonymous.
800. You remain anonymous. 273-8477, and that is for Crime Stoppers, and you
if
get a
you
dispatch.
can't, if you can't remember that 8477,
Tip.
it's tips.
Tip. Oh, 1-800-273-TIPS. Those of you who can't spell, TIPS. There we go.
And you'll get an operator that'll follow a matrix and
Okay.
ask you questions, almost like you were calling the police department.
Police department.
Which is nice because they know what questions
To ask you.
when, where, what do they look like, what kind of car do they drive, do you know a tag, how tall are they, how much do they weigh, what time is this happening. So when we get a report,
It's very detailed.
detailed, very nice, and
Okay.
it helps. Remember, we pass it on to law enforcement, they have to do the investigation.
Right.
So the more information they have,
The better off.
Yes.
And the better off, and to make an arrest that you can get your tip.
And if, these things don't happen right away. So
Right.
naturally, if the person has a warrant, they pick them up. That happens pretty fast. But some of these cases take months. Okay, you're still eligible. A homicide, it might have happened several years ago, but if your tip leads to the arrest, we'll still pay on that. Okay, so there's no time frame on that.
I'm gonna have to start looking online now and seeing who I know. You never know.
Eternal vigilance is the price of freedom.
I
don't
encourage
have the
everybody to
time.
come out to our breakfast. You've
Yeah,
been there.
I've been
and
there.
You get a lot of information. You mentioned law enforcement agencies from the
There's so many
Fort County area
Mhm.
are there. And you might have a question, you want to pull them aside
Mm-hmm.
and talk to him. He's right there or she's right there, and it's great. You can have a one-on-one conversation and get your
And it's learning, and it's not like going to one of the other meetings that happen at 6, 7 o'clock at night, and you're there until 9, 10 o'clock at night. This is information for your safety in the community, and that's what we want to keep ourselves safe. And I think that's the best way to do it. You don't know who's moving in your neighborhood, and you need to know. And these are some of the best resources that you can go to learn, and that's important. Learning is important, and we want to be very, very happy about that.
And if law enforcement, say somebody from Martin County gets up and tells us what's happening in his community, might be a trend.
Right.
It's eventually going to work its
Oh,
way
yeah.
to Indian River County. It just
Yeah.
keeps moving.
It
north.
just keeps moving up
So,
and down.
It's just a matter of time. So
Before
it's
it
nice
gets
to
here.
hear what's going on somewhere else, because it's going to happen
Yeah.
in your community.
For those people that haven't come to our breakfast meeting, we send the invite out to all of our law enforcement partners.
I know. I'm on the
Yeah.
email, so I see everybody.
So we pass that mic around and say, "What's going on? What's going on?" And some of the guys grab the mic, or women grab the mic, and they have a lot to say. And some are like, "No, it's pretty
Very
quiet."
quiet, or
But
what-
it gives people in the audience the opportunity to ask questions.
Yeah.
And like Rick said,
and people are there. I've been
they
there.
love to
People
they
come.
love to grab these guys and
Yeah.
pull them aside
Oh,
because
yeah.
maybe they're not comfortable with speaking in front of 100 people.
And it's nice to hear what's going on, what the trend is.
Right.
And one of the examples is stealing tailgates from pickup trucks. That was very popular for a long time.
They were stealing tailgates. From
They would
pickup
take
trucks?
they would steal the tailgate off your pickup truck, and then they would scrap it. Take it to a scrap yard, and they could get paid. And they're very easy to take off. Okay, and this was happening in all the counties that we dealt with.
I know, not to cut you, Mr. Rick, but I know they were going in. I saw a bulletin that came out, and they were stealing people's trucks, cameras and all,
Yes.
right in their yard.
Yes,
My
yes.
husband backed us right to the back
One of the
gate.
bigger ones now too is they've been doing this for years. Catalytic converters.
Yes, I heard that, and it's
'Cause
underneath.
It's underneath, so
Right.
you come out in the morning to start your car,
And you can't
it's running
start it.
horrible, or it's loud, or it doesn't start. They're just going in there, they're cutting those things out.
Actually, when I was working, I had a guy who was driving through the parking lot at one of our malls, and I got flagged down, and this young kid came out of Lowe's, and he says, "I'm walking out of Lowe's, and I see this older gentleman trying to put a tailgate on his pickup truck." And he said, so I went over and I helped him, and I put it on, and he says, I was feeling good about myself, and I continued to walk onto my truck until I realized
That was his.
It was his
Oh, wow.
tailgate.
Oh, my goodness. In broad daylight.
Broad daylight.
Nobody cares.
Yes, and it was probably 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. Fortunately, there were a lot of deputies right in the area. I put it out on the radio. We were able to catch the gentleman.
Wow.
But that's what they were going to do. They were going to scrap it, and it's instant money for drugs. And it happens all over.
All over.
All over.
So
So
it's
it's nice to know what's happening.
and to keep an eye out for that.
He and I will
Yes.
compare notes from what I experienced up north and what he experienced down
Yes.
here. It's the same.
It's the same.
It's the same.
Crime
It's
is
all about
crime.
crime is crime.
Yeah.
Crime is crime. It happens, and that's it. But I just want to know, wow, I don't know about you, but I have learned a lot of information. Is there anything that I missed about Crime Stoppers other than coming to the meeting on the third Friday?
Yes.
And that is at the Draft House.
Well,
And breakfast is included.
is Crime Stoppers a nonprofit organization like
Yes,
CareBag?
We are.
Yes, it is.
We are a 501c3 nonprofit.
These philanthropists and these folks out there who want to support something a worthy cause is, well, get
They know.
involved with helping them
Yeah.
Come up with the reward money. Right?
There you go.
Donations.
One
We
thing
are-
I
That's it.
think a lot of people ask is, where do we get our money to pay? Okay. Here's the interesting fact. Actually, when a defendant gets arrested and gets convicted and goes in front of the judge, he gets fined $20 to Crime Stoppers.
Oh.
3 goes to the clerk of the court for handling the paperwork. 17 goes to Tallahassee. Okay, and then Tallahassee will
Divvies
give
it
it to
up.
us. Yes, give it back to us in a grant, and they manage our grant. They take a little bit for managing the grant, and then it comes back to us. And then we have a lot of rules and regs on how we can spend that money. And what we can use it for. So the defendants are actually
Funding.
funding
the program.
funding Crime Stoppers. So our
Now, if
amount,
that's not a hoot, I don't know what is.
our amount fluctuates
It's a given.
constantly,
Constantly.
depending on how many. Now, keep in mind, you might be able to go in front of the judge and be fined,
Right.
but you might not have any money, or you go to prison. So we might not ever get that.
Right.
So It does help. We do encourage donations. We are a 501c3.
Well, this is what we tell everyone here in Careology. Not everyone loves what CareBag does. The homeless, the families in need. Some people love to help people. Some people like kitty cats. Some people like dogs. Everyone has what they do. But what I try to encourage, if it's something that's on your heart and you know this is what you want to help, do it. It's better to do something than nothing. It's better to help someone than no one at all. You don't know how your dollars are going to help. So if this is where you want to help, reach out to Crime Stoppers. Go to tcwatch.org, go on their Facebook page, look them up, call. You can go ahead and ask for Russ or Rick. Tell them you heard about Careology and what can you do to help. That's something, gentlemen, that we really promote on here. You might not want to help like what I do, but like what someone else does, as long as it's going back to the community. That's what we're about, sharing resources and information. And for that, gentlemen, thank you. This was so interesting. I don't know. I learned a lot already. I learned my mother always say crime doesn't pay. Yes, it does, Mom. Crime does pay.
Pays you if you see something and say something.
Crime doesn't pay, but we do.
We do. There you go. Crime doesn't pay, but Crime Stoppers does. So I want you guys to remember that. Gentlemen, it has been an honor. Thank you so much for coming out and sharing.
Roxy.
And I'm going to try to make it the third Friday. It is hard getting up in the morning, but I'm going to try.
That third Friday, let's just see. That third Friday this month is the 19th.
The 19th.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to put
8:30 in the morning.
8:30 in the morning, right at Kitterman and US 1.
You got it.
It's a great breakfast, so it's worth it.
Yes,
Once
it
you're
is.
there, you'll be
You'll
glad you
enjoy
did
it. Yes, you will. And they have a lot of food. I'm letting you know. I've been there. But, gentlemen, thank you so much for Crime Stoppers for coming out and sharing with us. And what we want to encourage everyone is that please remember to support your local nonprofit. Doesn't matter how you do it. It's always important to support. My name is Roxy, and what I want to say is thank you for listening to Careology. Thank you for supporting us. Please, if you want to find out any more information about the car, go to www.givecarebag.com, and you can find out all the information about us and everything that we're doing in our community. And again, thank the gentleman from Crime Stoppers on. Is there anything else I forgot, Cliff?
I was going to say, how do we sign up to win the Lexus? CareBag.com.
There we go. I covered that.
Covered everything.
We covered everything. And we are back next week with Pastor Haynes, and we're going to be talking about family relationships. So come out and listen to what our pastor has to say. Everyone's been giving good feedback on it. So bye, and I will see you next week, Tuesday at 6:05. Have a good evening, guys.